Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. This episode, Dawntrail story. We're just going to talk about it. Doesn't need to be a big deal. You could like it, not like it. Could be terrible, could be great. That's it. That's what we're talking about. All right? So buckle in. I'm sure that the comment section is going to be fantastic on YouTube. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Mrhappy. Of course, joining me is Sly. How you doing, Sly?
I'm great. I am looking forward to this. Hi.
All right, great. And, Sly and I haven't had a guest on in a while, so to talk about all of Dawntrail's story, we're bringing back someone we haven't had on in a few years, and that is none other than Jesse Cox. Hello, Jesse.
Hello. Time flies. Excited to be back.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a few years since we've had you on. We've had you on one other show. I remember it fairly well. It was a good time.
The audience said never again, and now you're here.
Yeah.
How long did that take us? How long was that? Jesus Christ.
Well, so I have a thing where I'm terrible at asking people to be on shows, so they go huge stretches of time.
And me, I'm like, hey, you want to be on State of the Realm? Sure. Great, you're on State of the Realm. It's you do it last minute. I try to ask in advance, but when we're
last week, I made sure to ask him a little, not ask Jesse the day before. I asked him on Saturday when he was in another country.
Okay, so not bad.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome back, Jesse. How you been? I know you're a little sick right now.
Yeah, traveling back from the UK, caught a cold. I feel fine. I just am stuffed up, and if I sound that way, my apologies. But yeah, I'm all right.
Sound good to me.
Good to have you. Yeah, good to have you. Thanks for coming on. Sorry you're down with the sickness.
I got some sort of crud. I don't know what happened with me, but yeah. Not disturbed, but a little sick. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There we go. All right. Well, before we get started, just a quick, I don't have to do much of a sponsor read this time because the sponsor ad's just going to play on the YouTube side of things. It's going to get edited in after. So, before we get started, the sponsor for this video is Magic Spoon. Yeah, many of you are used to this ad read on my channel, but it's a pleasure every month. They make high-protein cereal and snack products that anyone can enjoy for almost any diet. I get a box every month and use it to shake up my daily eating because sometimes I just eat the same thing way too much. They most recently sent me a smorgasbord of cereal, treat bars, and granola. I'll just reach for any of them throughout the day, really, whenever I get snacky, as an option that's just better for my dietary needs. If you'd like to try Magic Spoon while also supporting the channel, then click the link below to get some today. Build your own custom box of products with tons of available flavors to match whatever you want. Best of all, use my link and discount code Mrhappy to get $5 off of your box. You can also buy it at your local grocery store or even on Amazon. And if you don't like it, Magic Spoon has a 100% happiness guarantee. Let them know and they'll refund you, no questions asked. So click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use code Mrhappy to get $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/Mrhappy to save $5 on your order. It even works in Canada and the UK. Thanks again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring, and now back to the video. And we're back from the sponsor read. There we go. Thanks, Magic
wow.
Spoon. Thanks for sponsoring.
That was so good.
Yeah. They only paid for the YouTube side. They didn't pay for the live stream. So that's all. They only have to deal with it there. So thanks to Magic Spoon for sponsoring. Thanks to anyone on Patreon who's supporting as well, because we don't paywall anything. It's just there for people who enjoy the content. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. So first, we're going to work a little bit backwards here, because 7.3 just happened.
Yeah. Let's work backwards from there, because it's been a while since we had Jesse on.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, safe to say you've experienced pretty much all of Dawntrail thus far. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've done everything.
Okay, perfect. So, your general gist, not story-wise, gameplay-wise, how do you feel about the game? How do you feel about the state of the game?
Sure. Man, that's a loaded question. So let me stress by saying that I come from a perspective that every time I do a show like this, or I'm talking about, the state of 14 and all the different things going on in it, I must stress in advance, I am a person who a lot of people in chat or on forums or whatever will be like, this guy ain't no MMO player. So, and I say that by saying, I loved the fact that I didn't have to grind for the Manderville weapons. I was so thrilled that I didn't have to do anything to really earn them, just play the game, because I hate grinding. Like Occult Crescent, I hate that stuff. I'm not a fan. Bosnia was great because there's story to it, but Occult Crescent, the story's like minimal right now. It may go somewhere, but for me, it's mostly get your Atma, you idiot. And I'm like, no, I hate this. And I've never been a fan of it. I'm just not. So when they were like, oh yeah, no, these Manderville weapons, you don't have to do anything. Here, have weapons. I got every single one. It's the first time I've taken the time to get every single one maxed out because it was easy mode. And I loved that. I was a huge fan of that. And I'm well aware that is not the case for most people. Most people are like, I don't like this. I don't. So that's where I'm coming from. So let's get that out of the way now. With that said, I think that, mechanically, there's a lot to love in Dawntrail. I think some of the fights have been some of the best they've ever made. Visually, mechanically, like even doing some of the new raid stuff that just came out last week. I was like, yo, some of this is really well done and super fun. Some of it is absolute hell doing it for the first time, but some of it's really engaging and super fun. That I loved. There's also things that I think, mechanically when it comes to, we are now 5 expansions in, and we're still doing 2 pool boss, 2 pool boss, 2 pool boss, which I think is something we should change, like on the back end when it comes to dungeons. So it's like there's a lot that I love, and there's a lot that I'm like, all right, that seems pretty old. And there's a lot that I personally am like, nah, this ain't for me. And there's a lot that I absolutely love that seems like it's for me and no one else likes. And it's definitely a mixed bag. Like Dawntrail as a whole, I think mechanics, story, everything is like a straight solid 7 out of 10. Like I enjoy it. I like it, but there's things that I would definitely fix, and it's not perfect by any means. And there's a lot that I'm like, all right, it's not for me, but like, okay, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to freak out. And it has that sort of, I'm not a big fan of the either it's a 10 out of 10 or it's trash. A 7 out of 10, it can be fun and not be perfect. And I feel like that's what this is. It's a solid, it's all right. I'm enjoying it, but I can acknowledge every complaint everyone has because it's like, yeah, no, you're not wrong. There's some things wrong with this, but it isn't bad. I was talking about this a few weeks back where I think the biggest thing about Dawntrail is because everything's kind of starting over fresh and we're not really caught up in a big story anymore, although now kind of, but we're not like caught up in it. A lot of the problems Final Fantasy XIV has were still problems in Endwalker and in Shadowbringers, but people were so caught up in what was going on, they were like, I'm fine with it. We'll deal with that later. I like what's happening in this game right now. And so, yeah, it was, you were willing to overlook things. And I think now, because we're in sort of a weird, where are we going? What's happening? People have more time to focus on problems rather than their enjoyment. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at as a community. But those are my thoughts. What do you think?
Chat knows what we think because they have to listen to us every time in this show all the time. No, I'll get you caught up. I'll get you caught up on my thoughts. I'm kind of in a similar-ish boat where I'm kind of a dupe, but I'm a do everything player. Where I love the hardcore raids, but I spent 2 weeks in Occult Crescent and I spent a week and a half in Cosmic Exploration. I explored big fishing for a week, and like I can easily like kind of create my own fun by just expanding what I like actually spend my time doing in game. Which means that I tend to be less of the I don't have anything to do and more it's like, do I want to play right now or not? And that can be relative to like another game coming out. Like I'm waiting on Guild Wars 2 with Visions, and I started playing OSRS and a handful of other things. And I know there's a lot of stuff coming up, so it's easy to think about things like Tactics, Trails in the Sky, just all sorts of titles. But I've been here since 1.0 and I've seen the worst of the worst of everything. And when I look at Dawntrail, I'm like, this is okay, but they should really like actually fix some of these things that because At the beginning of the expansion, I was like, no, seriously, fix the friends list, please. I can't do this anymore. I need a functional social system in this game, for the love of God. Stop making fellowships. Stop making whatever the hell other like socialists. Just tie them all together somehow. Make something neat and clean, because that needs to change. Been complaining about gearing system, complaining about reward structure, things I talked about all throughout Endwalker, and Dawntrail has done better in some categories, not done better in other categories. And it's just been a lot of okay with some downs and some ups, generally. Which is something not a lot of people share. Well, I guess maybe not a lot, but a lot of people don't share that kind of levelness and acceptance of like things, of systems that have continued to exist while I still actually play. I don't want to see the words duty recorder in the chat. Stop. I'm making a video about it like next week. Stop. I get mad every time it pops up in the patch notes. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah. Look at that. Juno is duty record. That's so great for the Junos there. I love that. Mm-hmm. But yeah. A lot of just not, like you said, 10 out of 10 or trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I feel like it's okay to call something a 5 or 6 or 7 out of 10. Like, in a real world, 5 out of 10 is like, it's a middle of the road, fine. It's okay. And we should be there, but everyone hears 5 out of 10, and it's like, fail, worst game ever made.
Yeah, that's
which is rough.
The education system doing that, because we were raised to be like a 50 out of 100 is bro.
That's an F.
You're getting held back.
Yep.
Sly?
Oh, I guess it is my turn. Again, I agree with you. Like, 7 out of 10 above the halfway point. It's good. It's good. Like, hell, even when I rank bourbon, I'm like, 5 out of 10 is not bad. Right. Like, going off of grading, 5 out of 10 is, there's a lot of good 5 out of 10 bourbons out there. When anything probably less than a 3 is probably just don't pick it up. But in regards to the game, I agree that, games kind of have these fan bases where it's there are a lot of glaring things wrong with the game, but because the game at the time is good, you kind of get to ignore it. I'd say Fallout is one of those games where it's just, naturally good, but it has so much shit wrong and it's so glaring, but you kind of ignore it because, like, everything around it is actually pretty fucking decent. And it's been the same with Final Fantasy for the longest time. And I feel like it's a combination of that and a combination of, let's just say, time. Because you got to consider, and I want to say, let's call it the heyday, 2020, we ain't have shit to do. So what else do we have to do? Play games. And that's pretty much what the majority of us did. And because all of us were playing games, we were having fun. It was the funnest thing we could do because we couldn't fucking go outside. So naturally, we kind of needed a distraction. And I feel like Final Fantasy was one of the biggest distractions out there. And it, at the time, at around those expansions, was kind of at its peak in terms of player base, in terms of gameplay and everything. Everything was so good. Was there still, glaring things wrong about the game? Yes. But we were okay with it because we didn't have a shit else to do. So I want to say it's a combination of, the game itself and just the matter of time and the environment. It's a combination of that. Dawntrail is good. Not great. Not fucking terrible, as some people say. If you say it's terrible, that's your opinion. Everybody's got an asshole and an opinion. Like, that's fine. But to me, in my humblest of opinions, it's not bad. Can it be better? Way better. Yes, absolutely. But I'm enjoying the time I have with it. I'm enjoying this year-long summer vacation.
Hell of a summer vacation.
What will be
I,
2 years.
I will also say that Dawntrail, I attribute a lot of the more recent disdain as actually, I'm not gonna say it's not because of Dawntrail, but Endwalker had a lot of issues that carried into Dawntrail and didn't improve. So Dawntrail is like, if you have a 7 out of 10, great. But if you're 7 out of 10 for this long, people start to see a straight line as a downward slope. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to like system structure, support, and a lot of long-standing issues, this is like, no, but seriously, like, how has it been this for so long? It's never done this even a single time with some of those things. And that definitely it affects things a lot as well.
I mean, we go through with the biggest kind of recency bias kind of thing where we kind of, for the longest time, like every time, and it happens every expansion, we get the new, and we kind of, we don't pay attention to the problems of the past. And you're right, we've had these problems for hell, even longer than Endwalker. These are some problems that have existed since, Realm Reborn, Heaven's Ward. We've just ignored them. And it's like we get little distractions. We get a little bit of content that just makes us say, okay, you know what? I can bear with this. But now, like you said, with Endwalker and Dawntrail, it's kind of been a flat line, a plateau of, glaring issues. So we kind of have to address it.
There's also that weird, like, it almost seems like a perfect storm of background stuff happening where not only was this in development over COVID, not only was this during the development of Final Fantasy 16, which is a whole other thing that this team was like, there is a lot happening. And I don't know if it is something that we can say is, oh yeah, no, this was because of all these extra factors that we ended up with, or this is, because it's like old problems plus new problems equals a whole other thing. Or if it's, like moving forward into 8.0, does that mean it'll be changed? You can hope, but does it? I don't know. It could be exactly what Happy was talking about, where it's that straight line. Like, I genuinely don't know, but there's so many background things happening that it genuinely seems to be like, I don't know how you pinpoint anything in particular with what is wrong without just saying, like, here's the problems. I don't know how y'all fix them, but these are the problems. And I don't even know if you can fix them. These are the problems. And after a while, it just seems like you're constantly complaining about, like, suddenly you're just making the same video 12 times.
If people watch, I'm okay with that. I'll take the ad revenue. I'm perfect. I've done it. Like, I'll be like, yeah, I made that guide before. I'll do it again. No, whatever.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
No, I just think that it's impossible to truly know where to pinpoint things. But I guess the point I'm making is it's not about pinpointing or blaming what happened or a certain team or whatever. It's about, like, okay, what are y'all doing in the future? Because, like, the past is the past. The game's already out. 7.3 exists. We already had Dawntrail. You can litigate it a million times whether you liked it or not or what you didn't like. It's like, okay, what does the future bring? What are we doing now as we move forward? And I think that's the most important thing to think about when you talk about, all right, where are we going? Not just in story, but also in, like, mechanically, what are we doing now? And, I think that's tough for a lot of people because it means you have to be like, all right, I accept what we had. And sometimes accepting things is like a problem.
Yeah. And in terms of people's interpretation, there's also, with the lack of being able to pinpoint, I mean, people keep pointing, for example, at 14 Mobile, which isn't developed by the Square team.
Right. Not even remotely.
Yeah. And then they see what that also, on one side, they see, some people go like, oh, they were working on 14 Mobile, so that affected 14. Not the case. Like, yeah, they got in some meetings and said, yeah, that's okay. Like, not going to act like it was zero investment, but they weren't the ones actually programming and coding and doing all the art direction. Technically, they did that 10 fucking years ago.
Right.
But then you also have the mobile team building something from scratch, and some of the things it can do makes the actual game be like, can you cheat off your own homework over in China real quick, Square? Like, figure that out somehow. some way. I don't know. Hilarious though. There was actually a live letter for 14 Mobile as of late, and there's a list of complaints that people have that they just literally pull up like a full-on list of complaints and go over them one at a time. And I swear I thought I was reading the North American forums. It was the exact same things, which isn't a surprise because it's still Final Fantasy 14, but even with all that they've updated, it's the same exact things being said.
I must stress that same thing is, so even though I don't play WoW anymore, I live vicariously through all my friends who do. And I will constantly like snoop in, like, what you all doing over there? And despite the amount of people in my life who are like, dude, oh, I'm having so much fun. You know, like it's a totally different experience. That's great. If you go to the forums, it appears as though nothing has changed.
Yeah.
They're the same complaints, the same things that everyone was complaining about 5-10 years, still happening. And I think that's because it's the way it is with MMOs. I've said this countless times. I would never want to be an MMO developer because you can never make everyone happy. It's an impossible task. It's just, there's no way. There's only one happy. Yeah. And you're in chat with us right now. Yeah. So you can't make everyone happy.
Impossible.
Yeah.
I do it just to see the look on Sly's face, to be honest. There's nothing else in it.
Every time.
Sometimes he hears the word and I see his eyes glare up at the camera to see if I'm having any sort of reaction. And honestly, that fear is enough for me.
It's so quick. You can just say,
I've had people change their entire vocabulary here because Frosty's a big one. Frosty goes, I am so content.
Something synonymous with happy. Yes.
Yeah. Glad. But yeah, I think Dawntrail kind of suffers from being at the bottom. That's not to say you can't have negative opinions about the story itself that comes from Dawntrail. I think it's an important distinction to make. It's just that some of us have noticed these things long before.
Sure.
And Dawntrail seems to just be kind of the breaking point for some people. Now, before we get into the story, I'll ask you one more question regarding let's look ahead. I'm not going to ask for specific things, but there seems to already be an adjustment in specifically the content department where they want people to no longer feel like there is only 3 or 4 things out of 10 things per patch. They want to make sure that 7 out of 10 activities they release in any given patch is something somebody wants to do. Quantum with the new Deep Dungeon is really their first attempt at this. They've already said the Variant Dungeon will be getting similar changes. So Variant Criterion as it was, likely not there. We know Fort Tower, they're probably doing a casual and a hardcore version. So this kind of method of letting everyone get their claws in some way so they don't get to a patch and go, well, I'm done. Did the story, logging out. Do you've got experience with a lot of other MMOs, and you've seen a lot of MMOs struggle to get that kind of tiered system to be engaging enough. Do you think that that's in any way a promising enough prospect for the average player while also being a promising effect for the hardcore player? Or do you think this is if a game for everyone is a game for no one situation?
Yeah, this is tough. This is one of those things where, using the amount of time I played in WoW, for example, or just general MMOs, the idea of we're going to make it more accessible so more people can play is always smart. Having more people in your game means a bigger community, which is great for an MMO, especially an RPG, which is built on community. And that's the reason why people want to play. The more people playing, the more you want to be online, et cetera, et cetera. It makes perfect sense from a standpoint of a business. The problem is, from a human standpoint, if you're into hardcore content or you're a person who likes harder challenges, watering stuff down ruins your fun. And so now you have your hardest hardcore player base disappointed in what they see because they like the idea of it's a challenge. I defeated it. I can show off that I defeated it with this item or whatever, or a title or something. And so that's a whole thing. And then going back to WoW for a minute, when they did Mythic Plus, right? In theory, awesome, super fun, Love that. In reality, it eventually became, if you want to be good at Mythic Plus, you must have this class, this, ability, this gear. You must be, like, there was a meta to it. And if you didn't follow that meta, you're not coming in. And so it was sort of like gate kept by the better players. And then it ruined it for the players who were casual. And they were like, I don't even want to do this content anymore. And so that's a problem as well. Again, I would never want to be a dev of an MMO because it seems like a pain in the ass. I feel like, yes, across the board, allowing people to do more things is awesome. But also, as a person who once was very into hardcore things and now is definitely not, I understand how I would be angry if suddenly everyone can do the thing that I've been busting my ass to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and believe us, it's happened. AKA crafting. There were the hardcore crafters who kind of got mad that it became more accessible because it's like now everybody can get in on our.
So why you got to remind me about my desynthesis takes. When I was making bank off desynthesis because they were like it was such a pain, and I knew you had to consider the 3 that you could level, and then they made, and I was just like, yo, you know what? I'll just desynth leftovers. I don't want to do this anymore. You ruined it. Took it away. From me. I'm also, because I'm an old head, I'm a big, I don't know if the fan is the right word. I encourage some degree of what I will call reward sparsity, meaning that not everyone needs to get every mount. Not everyone needs to get every minion. It's funny because as I've been diving into OSRS for the first time, knowing there's a beaver that I have a 1 in 344,000 chance of getting is honestly a little more encouraging for me than it is discouraging, because I'm just kind of doing, like, if I see it, it'd be wild. But like, I remember, playing WoW and seeing, going into AV and seeing someone with a black Karaji tank and being like, that dude was part of the opening of AQ40 on his server way back when. And like, that's cool. I'm not like, where's mine? I want that. That's not fair. So it's some of the old tendencies, the new tendencies tend to mix and match. So like, I'm always worried about the accessibility from the, will it actually be good for the game perspective?
Sure. I mean, a great example of something that I'm glad they haven't ever changed, because the experience is one I think every 14 player should have, is going back and doing the Stormblood. Oh my God, what's the name of that dungeon where you get Ozma? That is
BA.
Yeah, that's a Baldessian Arsenal. Yeah, that's a hellscape. But when you come out the other side and you've earned that mount, you feel like a badass. And it is a blast to do. But yeah, I would never want them to be like, we're going to make that easier. And I know that's a weird thing to say, as I'm like, I hope everyone can play stuff. But there's some things that I think should be difficult for the purpose of being difficult. And there's some things I think should be open to more people. It's just, that's the balance of an MMO that, again, I don't want to ever have to do.
I think time is usually the best way to make something more accessible. For example, like you can eventually go back and unsync the raids and get the mounts that you haven't had for years. You know what I mean? Right. Like, BA has gotten easier over time. Time has made it accessible versus it wasn't made in the most accessible manner.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that's a big thing. But to get back on point, I guess my concern is I look at this whole quantum idea and I see people will do quantum 40 or not do it at all, probably. So then does it actually serve the purpose of being the scale difficulty that people can ease into? Are people motivated to try it on the easier bits? Is the reward structure going to work? Not just, oh, that's cool. But like, I don't care if it's cool if it's not functional. You know what I mean? So like, I think anything under Q40 is not going to be used. But the deep dungeon will probably be used more than it was before.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to the Mythic Plus system, eventually it will be only the people who want to do the hardest version of it will be playing. Because most people will just peace out. Like, it's going to happen. It might not happen immediately, but that will be the outcome eventually.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Because they already seem to be wanting to put these types of functions into the game so people feel like they can approach it at a method that works best for them. But that doesn't necessarily mean success. It's an idea.
Right.
and so needs to be executed on. All right. So that's Dawntrail. That's the state of the game as a whole. But we're here for Dawntrail's MSQ because it's been by far the most divisive piece of Dawntrail collectively. It's now come to its end in a sense where we have hit the kind of apex point of Dawntrail's characters. They are now set in stone. We know what Wuklamot's responsibilities are. We know what's happening with Sphene, with Gululja. These characters have bounded themselves. Same as when Lise bounded herself to Alamigo, for example. And so we kind of have to think back on what we liked, what we didn't like, and where we want to see it go. So let's jump back into base game Dawntrail. I'm going to just say it. How much of it do you really remember? And answer honestly. Don't think too hard. How much of it do you, because how much you remember is going to say how much you actually enjoyed it or liked it.
If we were to kind of if I were to quantify it in like a number from like 1 to 100, I'd say arbitrarily about 68%.
Oh, come on, man. You couldn't just do one more.
No. This isn't a joke, okay? No. It's 68%. We're not here to joke around. We're talking Dawntrail. I would say like 80%. I remember a lot of the story, but mostly not for good reasons, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
A lot of what I remember is kind of like, oof. But yeah, I remember most of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say I'm probably at about the 75% mark. There's definitely bits and pieces where if you ask me to remember it, there's no way I would.
Sure.
But I would say I remember all of the general themes of each zone and what they were trying to accomplish with any given progressive piece of the story. Which has always made me want, because I've always said I enjoy kind of exploring video game worlds and learning about them. And that's kind of what this entire, the entire first half is basically that mixed in with a bit of character foundation laying and growth. Those parts I remember thinking about and liking. But when I thought about it more, I was like, I don't really remember what they were saying, but I remember what was happening and why it was happening.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, would you say your problems were more with what was being done versus how it was being done? Or did you just think that it just didn't stick at all in any way?
I think the what is fine. The idea of this succession and Wuklamot's character going around and learning about the people that she eventually is going to have to rule is totally fine. I think the how is the bigger issue. Like, there's a lot of hills I will die on when it comes to... So, for example, I die on the hill that the Scions should not have been there. I think they should have been, still taking care of the rest of the world, and the only Scions we should have had were Kryle and Estinian, because Estinian should be everywhere, and Kryle's part of the story. Other than that, the twins shouldn't need to be there. We didn't need the dads. I get mechanically because we need them for dungeons and or raids to have the characters available, but unnecessary. They added nothing to the plot, really. They were just there to comment on things and to be around. It would have been more impactful had we got to that halfway point in the game where robot soldiers are attacking the city and we're like, oh no, what do we do? And then we're like, hold up, boop, 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 bring the squad. And then they all showed up and saved the day. That would have been 1,000 times cooler than they're just around and then are just like, don't worry, we're here too. I don't know. It just felt like unnecessary to have them because, again, Kryle's story didn't really pick up to the second half. And Estinian kind of just showed up and did some goofs and was like, all right, I'm out, bye. And I would have loved to have more of him. And, Ernville had a story that didn't really kick off until the second half. And it felt like, why are all these characters present? I get it because people love the Scions. They want their besties there. But it was unnecessary to the story they were trying to tell, at least in the first half. If we're trying to learn about Kona and Wuklamot and, all the lizard people and this rivalry between like the Liz, like we had a whole dead baby arc. Like that happened, you know, and so we didn't need Scion's present. This was supposed to be our vacation. We could have been like, y'all do what you do. We're going on vacation. And that could have been a thing for us. I feel like the how of them telling the story, there were a lot of things they felt like they had to shoehorn in rather than just like, let's tell a story and let's tell a good story. It was, let's tell a story, but also think mechanically about how we fit 8 other characters or 7 other characters into a trial. And so they had to plan around moving people. They could have done it differently. And that's my big issue there, is it just seemed like there was a lot of extra when they really could have streamlined a lot of this expansion.
I'll be one to say, I think they need to be a little bit more creative about fitting 4 or 8 characters into dungeons or trials with the trial. We have a stone that lets us call Warriors of Light. Can we not just call NPC Warriors of Light? Some sort of
I mean, don't for some dungeons we actually get just regular NPCs,
regular dudes. Yeah,
they could have done that for these they absolutely could have done that. So you're right.
Or even just like NPCs from Tuliolal, like some like high ranking Serpent's Guard or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I love the Scions. I'm here for the Scions. In this story, at least for the first half, it made no sense to have them here because we're trying to learn about other characters. Give us more time with the other characters. Give more lines to these characters to talk and discuss with us and learn about them because we're there for their experience. And instead, we got kind of like the streamlined version of meeting them. And I feel like a lot of characters we didn't have time with. Like, for those of you who don't remember, there was a whole plot point about like 2 villainous lizard dudes, and one of them we forgave. He saved the town once. You're good, buddy. We're best friends. Like there was no growth in his character, and it upsets me because like there is a way. Even the overall villain, our big lizard bad guy, if we had more time with him as a character to learn that he is it's there in the game, right? It's there. It's just not greatly told, where he is a guy who's been told all of his life, you are the chosen one. You are the best version of your dad. You are going to succeed. You're going to be like, you're the greatest warrior there ever lived. And then he loses. I think the idea of that would crush a person who's been told that his entire life. And that's supposedly what happens, but it happens off screen in a 30-year time jump where he goes insane in a different reality and then comes back and he's like, I'm here to seek revenge. We got no time with that. And we should have had time with that, where we get to learn, we should have had our like Emmett-esque moments where he's just on his own being like, those sons of bitches, they stole everything from me. Oh, I'm going to get revenge on my sister. We got none of that. And it could have been there and they told us it was there. It just didn't really happen, which is upsetting because it's like, I know what you were trying to do and bless you for trying, but we had all these other things happening that we just didn't get to it, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think a moment that shines is you mentioned where they just kind of show up to save the day. I remember a highlight portion was seeing the armies all be deployed and then Estinian and Vritra just fucking blast everything out of the sky. And I'm like,
that was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was like, I was like, see, Zoral Jaw doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. We've got some shit in our back pocket. Mm-hmm. And Estinian, he's a big one. So yeah, like moments like that are better when you don't see it coming a mile away and it's not laid out as if the answer is going to always be there. Because as soon as you know all the signs, you're like, oh, well, I mean, they'll just all, they'll all do whatever.
Yeah. Like there's a really good way to do that foreshadowing, which I think if you did the variant dungeons and you did the whole Malala storyline, the fact that when we got hit with, we end up in the weird cube cave and they're like, wow, this seems so weird. Immediately I was like scrolling through all the text documents you got doing the island storyline. It was like, yo, it's here. Like this is what's happening. And then when you end up in, memory and they have the volcano thing, I'm like, remember when Azim went to the volcano and saved those people during that? I'm like, they clearly set things up. This is the Final Fantasy XIV I love. Very good job on this. But at the same time, they're rushing through other plot points, and I'm like, my heart, why can't we just have all the good stuff? Like, it's there. There's some cool stuff. And that's what, at least for me, kept me pushing through the story for things that I didn't like, was the things that I did like. It was like, what are we doing? Where is this story going? They're clearly cooking something. Where are we headed, folks? That I loved. But yeah, a lot of the path to get there was rough. I was like, okay, all right, let's just forge ahead.
Or one expansion past Forge Ahead.
We're never past forge ahead. I'm just forging. Got to keep going. Keep forging. Vacation is on the other side of this hill, I believe.
Sly, I haven't heard you talk in a while. What's going through your head over there?
One kind of key thing about this, and this has been kind of an opinion of many, has been the polarizing opinion has been where it's about us, the Warrior of Light. We are the hero. We save the day, and it's been like that for a while. You got to remember, in Stormblood, it really wasn't about us. We were helping liberate. Yeah, it was Lise. We were helping liberate Alamigo.
Yeah, people didn't like that expansion, in case you don't remember, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like, we've had that expansion where it really hasn't been about us. And that's why I was okay with that, because like in the past, it has not been about us. We've helped. We were there. We were supporting, but we weren't the central focus. No, Lise was the central focus.
Wow. Until Xenos saw how big our dick was and was like, I need that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But when it came to Dawntrail, and like I kind of saw that we weren't the central focus, I'm like, okay, great. Shit, it don't have to be about me. There's no real big bad yet that I have to really focus on. I can just go have some margaritas, eat some fucking tacos, just fight some shit in the process and be okay. And maybe help out in the interim, sure. But it's not about me, and it doesn't have to always be about fucking you. Yeah, I get that. Like last expansion, you had that big, post Xenos, Metal Gear fist fight. You had that big, and the Warrior of Light in your name. Yeah, that was kind of a big dick moment, and we all loved it. Everybody took a snapshot except me. I didn't give a fuck. Everybody took the snapshot. Like, you got your name and everything, and you loved it. Great. Here, I just want to fucking relax and just fucking make some tacos, eat some tacos, and have a margarita, and then maybe go fight shit. And that's kind of what we did. Now, yes, one thing I will agree with you with, Jesse, is how the Scions were utilized. One thing in particular is how they pitted us against each other. The false, enemies of our dads. Like, really? I mean, yeah, I kind of saw that as like cheap, in my opinion. Like, it was really, really cheap. Oh God, who are like, all the Scions are against each other now. No, they're not. We're family. When you're here, you're family. Like, the way the Scions were utilized in this, yes, I will agree. They can take a backseat sometimes. Yes. They can be off doing what shit. Let the twins go back to fucking Garlemald. There's a lot of shit for them to do there. Let them stay there. They have plenty of shit to do. They don't need to be here. This is our vacation, bitch. No, leave us the fuck alone. Let us get the tacos. They don't need tacos. Yeah, it only made sense, honestly, for Cryle. And yeah, I'll give you Estinian. Aaronville is just his own separate. He's
not a Scion. He can do whatever he wants.
He's not a Scion. Yeah, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But yeah, Cryle made sense. Cryle made the most sense. It was more about her than any of the Scions. Like, nobody else had any reason to go. Like, we're big boys and girls. We can handle ourselves. We dealt with, universe ending entities. So we can't deal with with a usurper of a nation, just one. We dealt with the Endsinger. We can't deal with a lizard man usurper of a nation. Come on.
Yeah. There's also oh, sorry.
No, go for
Go
it.
ahead.
Now, I was gonna say, like, we're talking about like using the new characters. They actually do have one point in Dawntrail's story where this is executed better, and it's actually against Valagar Manda with the trust. You get Zoral Jaw as a duty support during that. You get Wukama. You get Kona. Like, you actually get like a bunch of the new characters like linked together there, and I think that's generally what the point we're trying to get across. And you know, if we're going to be a supporting character, we need to be surrounded by new characters, not old characters. I'll say another example. When Wuklamot fights Galul Jaja and we stand off on the side, maybe unpopular opinion, I lose the effect of me being on the sideline when I'm controlling Wuklamot in the middle of the fight. You know, I like, as the player, like, even though I understand my character's not the one doing it, I'm still doing. So being in that supportive role, I'd rather have been on the outside, actually just giving her direction about what to do against Galul Jaja if she really needed like a supportive structure, and maybe just a small bit against ads, than actually being in control of her during that sequence. So moments like that also, I think, need to improve.
Like, there actually is a really fun way they could have. There's a really fun way they could have done that fight, where because of what's going on, it's her versus like her brother, and there's this crazy fight going on. But instead, it could have been in the background, my boy Jaja Jafar. I love him to death, best villain, hands down. If he was trying to manipulate the fight and we had to stop him from doing that, we could have our own side thing while they're fighting in the background. That could have been like a really cool moment of like, we're not going to interfere with that fight. We're going to mess with the guy who's trying to interfere with it and stop it from happening. Like, those little tiny things could have made all the difference in the story. Because in my mind, when I played this expansion, I was like, oh, we are basically Ardbirding Wuklamot this entire time. We're here to give you this new character advice on how to be like a real hero. And we needed that advice at one point in time because, you know, Stormblood, we're there to help Lise. We're doing this thing. And then Ardbird's like, bro, I got you. Let's go on this adventure. You're going to go through some dark times, but I'm going to teach you like, let's do this together. And so having that moment of teaching and educating her and in a way because the biggest challenge they had is, and this is why MMOs don't do this, is ending an MMO. They literally said, period, book close. We're going to start a new book. And most MMOs, in fact, almost all don't do that. It's terrifying to do. You just keep upping the stakes. And eventually it gets to ludicrous proportions where you're fighting like the most insane thing that for some reason is stronger than the other most insane thing you fought. And so in this case, they're like, hey, we're refreshing. We're going to do it from the beginning. And there's only a few ways to do that. Either you cut our power and we lose it, which I don't think players would love, or you create an even more crazy villain compared to the concept of despair, or you say, hey, we're going to put you on the sideline for a minute. You're not the main character. You have all your powers. You're still untouchable. You literally went to space and punched a bird, but like, it's chill. You're going to have your vacation. That's what they picked. They picked the one where we're still powerful. And honestly, by the time we hit 7.3, for me, that paid off in a really fun way, and I loved that. But going through the base game, yeah, it's kind of like, we are powerful. No one here understands that. And that's why the signs shouldn't have been there, because they were all like, right, Warrior of Light. We'll just let them do their thing, when everyone knows I could slap it. Like Happy was saying, every villain was a complete punk bitch when you think about it. They were nothing.
Yep.
They were nothing to us, and we could have ended it, but we were like, we're here to support that person who needs to do this herself. Very much like Lise, which is going back to Stormblood. And again, that's what they were trying to get across, but they just, it like didn't land because they were like, we got 80 things to do this expansion, which again seemed like a lot. And so by trying to do so much, it watered the story down to the point where like nothing really landed in base game in a way that I wish it did.
When you talk about those 80 different things we had to do, how could that have been handled better? Because I'm assuming you're talking about us going to each individual area of Dawntrail? Is that what you're referring to? Like us
Well,
going
like a great example is we hit this point where, so we have the rivalry, like you were talking about. The rivalry lasts exactly one dungeon,
and
then it's gone. We have, by the time we hit the next dungeon, we have to fight a giant world-ending monster super bird that flies off to another zone that we never go to, but we see our characters walk there, and in the distance it looks beautiful, but we'll never visit that zone, and so we battle this giant bird, and it's like, it'll destroy everything. This is the worst thing ever. And we go off and we fight this bird. The bird, solved. Problem solved. And it's like, so many people could have died. And then immediately afterwards, we're like, you two-headed lizard goofball, why'd you do that? But before we were told this is the end of the world kind of stuff. It's that vibe where we're going through so many important things that it makes none of it seem important.
Yeah, it's like scaled up because we used to get primals popping up all over the place. Going back to a Realm Reborn, even all the way up through Stormblood. I mean, the Lakshmi section of Stormblood is like, in my opinion, probably the least effectively told part of all of Stormblood. It's just like eventually, just like, oh, I'm here at Lakshmi. I had to help them. I had to help these Dhyanta, and now I'm killing Lakshmi. Ooh, big deal. And that's kind of it's like that, but scaled up, because every primal we were told, if we leave this unchecked, like, it's a threat to the entire realm. And Valagar Man does that again, except now it's just like a big old bird that's like just happened to be really strong, but it's it's kind of that again.
I wish we had more time, is what I'm saying. Like, overall, the pacing just seemed very quick because we had to get through a succession story into a multi-dimensional time travel story, into introducing the second half of the game introduces more characters. Like, that's crazy to think about, that they were like, well, there's a little boy, there's Otis, we got a new queen that we have to, like, what's that about? Like, there's so much happening in this expansion that it just is like a lot.
When you talk about the rivalries, I will compare. There is a game that kind of handled a similar situation. I'll say better. I won't ruin it. I'll say the name. Cold Steel 4. Now, and Happy, you will hopefully eventually get to this if you speed through all the fucking trails after first. But Cold Steel 4, I won't spoil the story, but had a similar situation. It wasn't a succession story, but there was a rivalry that encompassed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say maybe 6 or 7? 7. And it handled it so perfectly because everybody got their shine. Like, nothing was diluted. And then when you get to the latter part of it, like near the end where everything is about to fucking, end of Zamoria type shit, that was paced quicker than the first part. And I feel like that's what the second half should have been, like the whole Alexandria, but like it was kind of 50-50 with the succession and then Alexandria. Whereas, the rivalry, like everybody got their shine, and then once it came to end of the universe type shit, we were in and out. Like we were at that point, we have fought everything. And we can handle fucking anything. We can handle fucking demons. We can handle fucking anything. What do you mean, end of the universe? We're the fucking Avengers. Literally, it was the Avengers. Literally. I mean, and basically at the point before, like at the point where like we summoned the entire realm, that was Avengers. That should have been end. That should have been the end, in my opinion. But no, we got that before the end. So,
yeah. It's tough because like there are a lot of parts I really do want to like about it, and I think generally I was okay with it by the end of it, but only because I understood what was I basically understood what was trying to be told at any given point, and put it together logically in my head and went, all right, I like that. Versus any individual character action being like the thing I liked, which inherently means I didn't like a lot of them. If that makes sense.
This is a weird way to describe it, but for me, 7.0 has the exact same vibe as international smash hit sensation movie Jupiter Ascending, which is, it's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No.
it's not good at all.
I'm
However,
glad you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. And it mostly because it's so insane. Like, there's some things where I'm like, why are we doing this? But I enjoy it because they went for things. And the things that they went for that really landed for me. Like the fight on the train, I loved. Right? The last bit with the battle against, like Super Sphinx, I thought that was super fun. There's like good stuff here. But there's also things where I don't understand why the choices were made. So in the last 10 years, and this is me having recently caught up because I only started playing in 2020. I am like, so I've been really catching up with a lot of stuff. And the thing that I noticed, and they did this in Endwalker and in Shadowbringers, when it comes to point 1, point 2, point 3, it's all very, we are going to expound upon the story we told in the base game. But the base game is the base game. In this one, for some reason, they left a lot on the table in the base game. And then they did things like, so a great example is there was that huge plot line between the like Mamook people and the people in, I don't remember the name of the village, but like the
Ixbrox,
lion,
I believe.
Yeah.
Ixbrox, yeah.
And their relationship and how truly tense it was, and how they went to war, and it was a complete mess, and you find out literally they tried to assassinate Wucklamut as a baby. Like, that's a plot line that was happening, and then it kind of just stops. Until you do the Alliance, the Alliance Beast Tribe quest line, where that is the plot line of like, it starts out like, we're making food, everything is good, let's craft and farm or whatever. And then at the end, it's like, hey, the whole point of this was to end that plot line, which is a crazy way to fit that in, because you're like the Gathering storyline is the plot line of these two people that hate each other, which I thought was a wild swing. But like, all right, I got my answers, I guess, but it's weird they put it there. And that's not something they usually do. And so I don't know what the decision-making process for this was, but they do a lot of that in this, where it's like, we're going to not finish the story, but do it in a post-patch thing that is not necessarily a thing you need to do. Which isn't the way they, like, if you did the Endwalker tribal quests, all they did was expound upon things. And if you did like the Barista at the End of the Universe quest line, that was great. I was like, oh, this wraps up so many cool things. But the story ended in a way that if I didn't get that, I'd be fine. This time, they were like, oh no, that whole dead baby trying to murder Wucklamut, doing like a war between two factions. We're going to forget about that because there's robots. But then we come back to it, and I'm like, as a Gathering quest line? That's so bizarre. I have no idea why they made that choice. I would love to know.
Yeah.
Probably just because it had to do with the metal jaw.
Yeah, I guess.
By the way, you mentioned the bar at the end of the universe. Did you get the wacky races resident reference
Loved it.
for it? Yeah.
Loved
it.
it.
Thank you.
I was so happy.
I'm glad you did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
okay.
How dare they? That quest line and the one with the Loporits, I was like, these sons of bitches, I'm crafting right now. Why are we doing this? Yeah, they got me. And
because
that
we need
really
therapy.
Yeah, I guess that's I need a little rabbit to be like, tell me about your childhood. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know if some of that's being done that way because they feel like they can't put all their cards on the table as much, because we are comparing it to experiences where the idea entirely was closure. Endwalker is literally full of nothing but quest lines that offer closure. Myths of the Realm, closure to age-old question about who the 12 actually are and related to the Convocation and the original. Even Pandemonium offers closure about both Mrhappy and, grants you one last look into Elidibus's thoughts about everything that you're doing. Omega in 6.1, if you had done the original story and had been keeping up with all the new locations they had been adding across the expansion, it was effectively an expansion of payoffs. But Dawntrail is not meant to be an expansion of payoffs. It's meant to be an expansion of questions almost.
Yeah.
But when you're just being told that, if you're just being told, oh, have questions, it's like,
then I do have questions. Like, why are we being told that? Yeah.
Yeah, and Endwalker asked all those questions. It was Emmett Selk who asked those questions. What about the bounty? What about this? What about that? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? Like, no. I guess we have our plot point for the next fucking 10 years then, don't we? Thanks, Emmett Selk.
And so far, there's only 2 things missing, which is pretty great. I went through last night and was like, all right, yeah. We still got 2 things to go, but we've done everything else, and I think that's really cool. I'm like, all right, Emmett. Good work, bud.
Which means, obviously, we're going to Mrhappy next so we can have... This was a Realm Reborn 2.0 now. We need Heavensward 2.0, so Mrhappy is the logical.
Yeah, I mean, they also hit us with the, name drop of a new faction at the end, and I was like, oh, that seems very interesting. Is that in any way related to the fact that they were like, the Frozen North, did you go there? And you're like, no, Emmett, not yet. No. And it's like, maybe we will. Yeah, they definitely are doing a lot of cool stuff, and I'm here for it. And that's 7.3 landed for me. I was so happy. But yeah, 7.0, it's just, they were like, it feels kind of like a forced version of a Realm Reborn. A Realm Reborn was, hey, we're going to just toss out some ideas.
If a Realm Reborn wasn't forced enough?
Right, they're like, we're going to toss out ideas, and this time they're like, put a lot of stuff in, and then we'll pull those threads later. But they just put so much in that the experience felt like a lot of, okay, we're moving on to the next thing now. So we're going to forget about that. All right, well, guess we'll come back to it later, which never feels like good storytelling.
Whenever I think about a story, whenever I think about anything that we hear about, or everything that we heard about from Emmett, and anything that we hear about, the Winterers, anything like that, I get referred to the map and look at the cloud cover. And I'm like, where the fuck are they covering? Okay, we have this whole thing between, we have this whole area beneath Garlemald. That's still covered. To the east of Garlemald, that's still covered. Mrhappy, aka Upside Down Land in Aetheris. That's covered. There are certain things that have a lot of cloud cover. There's a lot of, uncharted lands or uncharted territory that we haven't been to. And I get referred to the map every time. Now look at it. I'm like, where could that be? Huh.
I mean, we haven't even gone to actual Hingashi yet. We're on an island out the coast of it. So that's there's so much to explore that I'm not worried about them coming up with ideas. I just want the ideas to be good,
cohesive.
Focused. Yeah, yes, cohesive.
Okay.
Hit us with something, but have it laser focused so we can get invested in what you're doing in this which again, I think that's why there's a lot of love for Heavensward as the first expansion, because it's a Realm Reborn is kind of all over the place. And Heavensward is hyper focused. And it gets you invested in what's going on in a way a Realm Reborn simply did not.
There is one part of Heavensward. Sorry, I have to do it. One part of Heavensward where they fall flat, and it's because they set up a thread that goes nowhere, and it's Nanimo and fixing the end of it. Because the whole point of that is oh yeah, now you need to go be isolated in Ishgard, and then a few patches in, you're just by the way, she's just asleep, and we need to go break Raubon out of jail so we can get these motherfuckers back in their seats of power. So let's just do that. You want to just take care? All right, then we'll go back to Ishgard. The Asians are there. He already told us, And
I feel like that is unfortunately because of a Realm Reborn and choices made there,
Yeah. So the big question is, because this has been done quite a bit where, every expansion we have kind of a couple of focuses, right? Like it's not, like you said, it's not focused on one particular thing. AKA we have, the Succession, and then we have Alexandria. Should they have been two separate expansions? Yes or no?
I guess they would. I mean, conceptually, yeah, but storytelling wise, so much of each of the stories hinges on the other part of the story and the characters in them that they would have to do major story rewrites and character rewrites. But if they wanted to include the Scions, then yes, it should have been two separate things. Like it should have been. It reminds me of Battle for Azeroth, when it was told to everyone, the war is back in Warcraft. It's now about the battle between the Alliance and the Horde. We're going to make all of BlizzCon about this. I'm going to shout at you like, for the Horde, for the Alliance. And then when you played the expansion, it was literally like, no, the battle was for the soul of Azeroth. Don't you see? And you're like, what the shit? That wasn't what I was promised. And it's the same thing here, where it's like, we were told the Scions are versus each other. It's about this who's going to be the next leader of this thing, but there's going to be a twist at the end. And the twist was one half of the expansion. Yep. And it's like, okay, so the whole Scion thing didn't matter at all and was just used to hype us up on stuff because they couldn't tell us what the twist was because the twist is so out there insane bonkers. And, it should have been two expansions where the Scions versus each other. And like you were saying earlier, the idea of at the end, we all come together to fight like a big bad. They could have done that. But it's Final Fantasy 14, so we had to have some like, you're level 97, shit's about to get weird. So...
That is how it normally goes. I mean, I love even going back to Heavens, where level 57 is the Vault, where you find out, wait, they're not the good guys. Damn it.
We knew that. Like, if you know anything about RPG, the church is never fucking good.
Hey, that's why I get rezzed in Dragon Quest. How dare you?
Hell, in SMT, the literal church, the literal real world church is not good. Fuck you mean?
Yeah. Attack and dethrone God. That's the whole point of an RPG. That's how it works.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So, but it should have been two. If like in a perfect world, it should have been two. Because there's also a lot of like the whole idea of we need this key. Our villainous plan is to go around and suck the life force to keep our robot or digital people alive. That is so much to add on top of this wacky Succession story. Like, there's just a lot going on. And the more you think about it, the more you're like, that was also part of the plot, dude. What?
Put it like this. Aaronville could have had his own expansion.
Yeah.
Aaronville. That could have been all about Aaronville. And I would have been okay with that. Like, yeah, it got kind of split between Wooklamont and Aaronville, but yeah, Aaronville could have had his own expansion.
Yeah, there's a part where you begin to tell that the War of Succession is literally just there to set up Solution 9 more than anything else, and it's not really meant to be a plot line all on its own. It's and then it makes you wonder, I needed to get to the Golden City in some way, but like, that was how? Huh? Because like all the post patches aren't about Tuliolol at all. Like, yeah, you go there, but there's it doesn't care anymore. It's kind of like in Stormblood, like the 0.1 patch is kind of about Alamigo, but then they're just like, okay, no, but seriously, we're going back to Doma now. And it's just, clearly the entire the Tsukuyomi thing is the Atsuyu plotline is really the main way that they wanted to go with it. So it's like it's kind of the same here, which I'll be frank, we have to get onto it at some point. 7.1 through 7.3 was a decent bit more focused and thus landed a lot better for me than the base story. I thoroughly enjoyed 0.1 to 0.3. Just you go through a lot to get to the point where there is a point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm completely with you on the same page. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. it progressively kept landing more and more and more for me. So by the time we hit the end of point 3, I was like, yeah, all right. I like that. I really enjoyed the way the story ended. I was like, okay, yes, we wrapped up. We're good. What happens next? I'm excited to see where this goes. It made me feel like, yes, all right, I'm back in. Let's do this. And that definitely wasn't the case for 7.0. 7.0 was like, what? Where are we going? What is this story now? I have no clue. And now it definitely seems like we're focused on some stuff's about to, like some weird stuff's about to happen. I'm here for it.
Yeah. And usually in the past, like they're like, I would say with Stormblood, what was our thing? Our main thing was, Xenos. Whereas we had the Succession, we had Alexandria, and then from here on in, it's been focused on Alexandria. That's why I say Alexandria should have been its own thing. But from 7.0 on, it's been strictly Alexandria. Like there's nothing really going on in Tuliolo. Not like you said, it's a means to an end. It's almost like the 13th now. Like,
but there is the whole cow part of 7.1 with Kona and everything. That does happen there. But I'm not going to give that credit and say that, because that feels like very similar to the first half of 7.0, where it's like it's there to establish like the characters and like what they actually should be doing in their home state, but doesn't actually move the plot forward in any reasonable way. But other than that, it's a lot of Alexandria focus.
Again, a lot of what Shadowbringers got right, even though there were different areas within the 13th that we went to and we kind of solved situations there. It was about the 13th. Yeah. It was about one central location, one shard. Now, I'm not saying that every expansion has to be about a new shard, and hell, we might even go to another shard eventually. But it was, like you said, the key word is focus. It was focused on the 13th. This is focused on 2 different areas on the source. 2 different areas. And one got more shine in the successive patches than the other.
Yeah, you mean you're talking about Shadowbringers, you're talking about the first, not the third. The 13th would have been 6.1 to 6.5.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah. But even still, the successive patches have been about Alexandria. Like, Tuliolo is a means to an end. We don't do, like, nothing is going on in Tuliolo. Like, they have their Dawn Servants. They have everything. I mean, the Dawn Servants fixed everything. I mean, they didn't fix everything. Like, there had to be problems in Tuliolo. Not world ending, sure, but there still has to be problems.
One would imagine.
Yeah. It's I definitely think that there's a lot that should have been split. But they had to get us back to, like, I guess the problem is if the story is about aligning succession and this tournament and going around and learning about the new stuff, from what we just came from, it's not that compelling. Like, they'd have to really come up with something compelling to make the stuff when they included with Alexandria is pretty compelling. But again, because everything's crammed together, it's sped quickly. So like one of my first big like, wait, what moments was when you see President Baby and Otis for the first time, and you sit down with them around the campfire, and they're about to lore dump on you, and then Alistair changes the conversation completely. And you're like, what? They were going to tell us about the past. We were going to learn some things. And it's like, no.
Yep.
We're moving on. And it took until, going into the Resident Evil dungeon to be like, oh, now we're going to learn about this kid's mom for the first time. That was a huge question I had. And they were going to tell us and then said, no. Let's move on. And I was like, what? And I think there's a lot of that in 7.0 that really was.
You were not a big fan of that, I'm guessing.
I love the reveals we got, but the whole like, we're gonna keep the story going. We don't have time for you to learn anything. No one's going to give you an Emmett explaining the paintings on the walls. A great example, there was that cave in the Peru zone. I can't remember, or Capacho, whatever that was.
Yeah.
That cave that had all the artwork on it. We didn't get our like, now I will explain this crazy story to you. We never really got that. And I wanted that. And so, yeah, I wish we had more time to just sit in this world and absorb stuff rather than let's keep going. We got to get you to fight robots. Okay.
We have a decade more to go through, like a little less than a decade now, but a little less than a decade more. So we'll probably get the breadcrumbs eventually, maybe in 7.4 or 5. Because it has to lead to, like you said, it has to lead to.
Go to Mirror
another
City, I'm
story.
telling you.
I mean, eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
Again, clouds.
Now.
Read
Next.
the clouds. Read the clouds.
Listen, that's why they brought Vritra over, because now Vritra's going to be like, hey, remember how I helped you? Well, I got some shit now that we got to do, because when my Tiamat flew down there and I lost contact with them or some shit. Because Tiamat just fucked off to Mirror City. It's just like, I'm fucking done with this place. I'm going home. I fucking hate it here. Everything's been bad since I woke up. So, moving on.
Yeah.
But I think really the meat of Dawntrail's kind of enjoyment is really focused on 7.2 and 7.3.
Alexandria.
And yeah, it's all Alexandria. It's uncovering a bit more of the past. Tons of Final Fantasy IX references. And...
Wait, before you say anything, I have a really big question in regards to Alexandria. And yes, I realize Alexander was Heaven's Ward, but why couldn't they have utilized anything from Alexander and Alexandria? It's the namesake. I mean, are you fucking serious? Why? You couldn't have done anything with them? Anything? I mean, yeah, we fought Alexander on the source and yada yada yada, but nothing.
Honestly, the only part that makes that surprising, Sly, I would love to tell you that's because there's no way we'd be dealing with primals, but we're dealing with primals, so now I can't say that.
Right. Yeah, you can't say exactly. That's what I've been.
I actually have a really important point about that coming up later.
Okay. Perfect.
A very important point coming up about it later. We touched upon it last week a little bit, but I'll be curious to hear what Jesse thinks.
While we're talking about 0.2.3, I must stress, just from like a storytelling, literary standpoint, just in like good stories, it is very clear the old adage that the best stories have the best villains, and you need a good villain to tell a story. And base game, there was no present villain that I cared about.
None.
They introduce a little emo boy, and suddenly I'm super invested. Like, okay, this guy's got a plan. Things are happening. I'm back. Let's do this. And I think we needed that. We need a little shot in the arm of like, okay, there's some evil afoot, and it actually is more cohesive and makes like something's happening more than like, I am evil robots fiend and I want to murder you to keep my people alive, which is no different than Emmett. Like, we were given sort of a rehash of what we had gotten to. And so it's like, all right, now we have like, wait, this guy's plan makes no sense. What is he up to? What's going on here? What are we doing? And that's something I'm invested again. And I think a lot of people are as well. And so I'm like, all right.
So are you saying we need a central foil? Because to be fair, in ARR, we really didn't have a central foil. I mean, we had the
A Realm Reborn is honestly, I feel like Sly, we should never use a Realm Reborn as a template of something that needs to be done.
I mean, but it's the comparison, right?
Like,
because this is the
sort of,
right,
but like it's been over 10 years. Like, Gaius is your original one, with Nero being a whiny bitch baby about how much Sid is liked over him.
Right.
And then Nero becomes like the second character that we're constantly like, what is this fucking guy up to? Like, stop. I'm just just get over it, man. And eventually he does, and now he's married Sid and they're together and all that. But you know,
happiest
yeah.
endings.
And then after that, it was Laha Bread. Like Laha Bread was the main villain. So
Right.
yeah, like having like we again at that point we didn't have a central, main thing to go against yet. Is that the formula for a perfect story? Do we need a just central foil, one particular thing to go against, rather than 3 or 4?
We need, it doesn't matter the number or like a central character. We just need the villain to be a character and have a story that seems real and them to actually have motivations. It's like you have Robo Lizard. All of his stuff happened off screen. You don't connect with it. Sphene, for me, I understand the point was she was supposed to be this like very much a parallel to Emmett. Like I get it, but having just overcome that, I had no connection to what was going on because I was like, I've been there. I, as a player, have done this before. You can't break me. Like when they're like, shut down the servers, everyone must go away. I'm like, the option is everyone else dies. I just spent 2 expansions making that same judgment call where I and my friends were willing to sacrifice ourselves to save everyone else because either a guy was like, I'll turn you all into my old friends, or a bird was like, I'll wipe out existence. And you're like, not today, bitch. Like that is, we've done that. We've experienced that before. So as on an emotional level, it's not landing with me when they're like, goodbye, mom and dad. I'm like, no, shut it down. Those people aren't even real. Shut it down. They're manipulating your emotions. Shut it down. We have to save the world again. That's who I am as a hero. And so having a villain as Calyx be like, all right, I was the one behind all this. I'm doing some things. I have a plan. It's for this reason. And then in 7.3, you see like, oh, I love that. It was just more focused and he had a character and was a person. And we just spent an entire 0.3 patch learning about him. So now he has even more character. And I'm like, yes, okay, this is how you do it. You introduced a villain. They could, all the others, as he's, who cares right now? We have a villain who is now part of a bigger plot where I'm like, okay, like Laha Brea, I can hate this guy. F this dude. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's a good thing you talk about hating Calyx, because Sly does not like him.
No. He is the worst villain we have ever fucking had. The absolute fucking worst. The man has, like, he's a science baby. He has no emotion. He has literally, like, every villain we've had has had some form of emotion, and this dude is a literal fucking robot until the last moment where he's about to fucking get. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate it. Like even in the meso terminal when we're going through and he's describing everything, like, charge soldiers, you're about to die. Like, could you like at least have a little quip or anything? Be Peter Parker. Like, have some quips. Like, seriously, do something. Do something.
I think it's fun because he is like he was, how old they say he was, 11 or something?
11. Like,
he's basically a broken kid who is a digital version. So he's not even the real him. He's a digital.
And I understand that. But every digital version of the Endless at least had some form of emotion.
Yeah, that's why I like him, because this guy's messed up. He's like not like he's genuinely, he's an overconfident piece of shit. The brilliance of 7.3 for me is it's his grand plan is he's like, you fools, you think you can defeat me? I've created a primal. And you're like, that's all I kill, dude. But because he don't know you like that, when you're like, so be it, bitch. I love that moment. It was such a perfect way to end the they don't know me expansion. Was the villain's master plan was to make a primal? I was like, this guy's what an idiot. I love that moment. And the fact that he's like, oh, if only I'd done this and this. And it's like, no, dude. We would have beat you anyway, any day of the week. And I loved that. I thought it was so much fun. Yeah. And so him being like, I talk like this because I'm so confident in myself. Like, watching him crack is fun because it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're a kid, stupid. And I love that.
And that was the only time I liked him. And that was the only time I had any appreciation for it was when he cracked. Like, we had to crack this dude.
Jesse, I just want you to know, here on State of the Realm, we have a phrase. Sly has coined this phrase, and I think it pretty accurately represents his overall emotion towards Calyx. Fuck them kids.
Yeah, no, I agreed.
Fuck them kids. Michael Jordan picture. Fuck them kids, man. Fuck them kids.
The funny thing is that I saw a lot of people say, oh, his plan was to have this regenerating, stronger every time primal. But I'm like, that's all normal set. Like, we just fight harder and harder versions of primals as a mechanic in the game. That's who we are. We slay primals to the whole point that Emmett was like, we could be on the same team. You're that good. That's who we are. And so it just I loved it so much because it's the greatest way to end the vacation arc, where it's like the villain's grand plan is to hit us with a thing that we are known to do. So he's shocked that we can beat it. And it's like, hell yeah, of course we could. I like that. I like that a lot. And I love the reveal at the end where it's like, how did he learn how to summon primals? Oh, okay. Here we go again. Let's get out the old, boxing gloves because we're about to go to war. And I love that. I'm ready for it. And I have no idea what their plan is. It doesn't make any sense to me right now, but like, who knows what'll happen?
It's my favorite part of that cutscene, when after you beat Necron the first time, is everyone else around you is like now kind of like tired, and you're just like,
The scene.
You are just normal.
Dude, the scene, especially as a Lalafell, is so good. The scene where it respawns and Necron starts oozing the ground and everyone's like, oh, they're dying. Your character is just standing there. Unfazed. And I was like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. Let's go. Because it's one of those moments where it's like, y'all forgot who I was. Let me show you. It's great. I love that entire bit.
Rhymy, you put it best. This was a Captain America moment. Like, I can do this all day. I can literally do this all day.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite bits that Dawntrail has now set up is in 7.3. We now have what I have been predicting the entire time in that Ascian involvement. This has been
kind of new.
Every time we do a show, Jesse, I bring up the recurring theme. Yoshi P had said, remember the Ascians who are unaccounted for.
Are missing, And
the whole time, since Dawntrail, before Dawntrail even released, we saw Sphyn's tiara and noticed that it looked a lot like one of the Ascian sigils. And that has never left my mind.
We were at the same event. I remember when he said it.
Yeah. But now my brain has actually gone in another direction that involves this, that actually goes back to a thread that has never gotten closure in old Final Fantasy, going back to 1.0. There was an Ascian. We don't know who it was, but we know the name of the person they possessed, and that of Travanche. Travanche is the one who gave the horn to the goblins to make Alexander. And he happened to have another relic of the ancient days to make Alexandria. And I think whichever Ascian Travanche was is probably the one in charge of all of this too.
I think I'm going to verify this really quick because I think it's really obvious. When you go to the Ascian names. Yeah.
And we have all of them. Yeah, you're right.
We do.
Except
the one that makes the most sense to me is we just spent an entire expansion talking about preservation, and Pasturat is the guy in charge of preserving discipline and order.
Yeah.
And that's one of the missing ones. So, like, that could be a real easy through line.
The only issue is, and yes, we know the names. We know the names of all the ones who are kind of left. Pasturat, Emeraloth, Dudalafon. Those are the ones who are left. I mean, you can.
Those are ones that are. Two of them are full mystery. One of them's a question mark, if I recall.
Yeah. And maybe Ultima, although I assume killed by guys.
That's what I was alluding to. Like Ultima, So, these are the ones we have. The problem, again, the issue is we know about them. Hell, you learn about them in academia. The problem is, in any of the notes, they never bother to gender the actual, Asians. We knew
Right.
Egeorm was the female, was one of the only female. Wait,
I forgot Mrhappy was the one we dealt with in Eureka. He's dead. He's done.
okay, so we can cross off Mrhappy. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Dudalaphon and
Halmaret. Halmaret is the
Halmaret.
other one.
Halmaret,
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to say, we had this discussion last week. I think we only brought up Pastrot and Halmaret.
Dudalaphon.
I don't know.
and-
I think
brought up.
no, I don't think we brought up Dudalaphon last week because I'm remembering.
No, I brought
when
him
we
up
had
at the
Athos
last
on.
possible second because you were talking about I was like, oh yeah, Dudalaphon. That's the last one. But yeah, when you go into Academia Editor and you read all the notes, they don't gender the Asians at all. So we don't know who their ancient counterparts were or anything like that. We don't know what they kind of did or anything. I mean, we can kind of go off the 13th a little, off the 13 a little bit. But
The big question is where were they? What were they up to? There's last night I got in an argument with chat because I was like, the 9th, everyone was saying the 9th is saved now because of the end of the scene. I was like, no, that's one tiny fraction of an entire planet that was destroyed by lightning. We can't say that it is a saved world. It just wasn't rejoined. And they were like, no. I'm like, they said a storm destroyed it doesn't suddenly everything's cool.
Yeah, and
so
it was
my
never
assumption
rejoined.
is, it's just
never
not
rejoined.
rejoined.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean the world is in a complete mess like the 13th. We just don't know. Just because one little fraction of memory is fine, we don't even know the context of any of that. We don't have enough answers. But for the most part,
Alexandria could be the only part of the 9th.
right? Who
that
knows?
was preserved. Yeah.
But for the most part, the 4th, the 8th, and the 11th are still around doing whatever. We just don't know. And we have at least 3 Asians who are up to no good, who could be doing whatever. But the thing that I don't get, and this is what I'm really curious about, is the big dogs are gone. And we saw when they were killed, Van Daniel went absolutely bonkers and was like, finally, let's go cuckoo. And so the other ones, they're not complete, whole, unsundered. They were literally, as far as I'm aware, the main three raised up randoms and were like, let me give you some memories of the past. Go be our evil minions. And so these are just 3 people who they're not gonna try to reconnect they could care less, I would imagine. What is their plan? What are they up to? Why would they need some key to, travel through there's a lot here, and I have no idea what the plot could be because, again, it doesn't make sense that they would be like, yes, we too are also like the unsundered. There's no way. They have to have their own motivation and do their own thing.
Now, I bring up gender because I have a prediction for one of these Asians. When they make their appearance, one of these Asians is going to be Moonbreda. It's a hunch. It is a fucking hunch. It is the biggest hunch ever.
Go get a tinfoil hat.
I mean,
I need you to go buy some Reynolds wrap, and I need you to
one
make
of these
a
Asians is going to be Moonbreda. I'm calling it. I'm fucking calling it that one of these Asians is going to be Moonbreda.
One of these Asians is going to be Reynolds. We're going to wrap it up.
And it's going to be a plot point. It's going to be a big plot point for a certain scion. We all know who it is. It's a hunch. It's a hunch. It is a hunch.
There's an interesting thing where last night I spent a lot of time looking at the actual crystal on the inside of the key. And it is, again, the same color as M's crystal. It gave the same vibe. And we're told that the crystal we have was made by Emmett, given to Hith, given to us. It's not the original one. So there's that plot point as well. In my perfect world, I would love it. It doesn't mean this is where it has to end, but I'd love if we went on some world shard universe adventure where in order to solve problem A, whatever that is, we must follow in the footsteps of our previous self to like get more information on that. I'm totally cool. I've been saying this for a while now. I'm down for this. The other us's on other shards, we should make some sort of a Zemgers team. A Zemgers assemble. Yeah. Let's do it. That'd be badass. And I'd also, because of time dilation, love the idea of one of them, after the expansion's over and we all split up and go back our own way, one of them gets so full of himself that one of the villains in the end is an evil version of an us. Like bad guy. You know what I mean? Like that I am you, but you gotta follow the Star Trek version.
Persona.
Where yeah, like Kirk travels through time, kills God, and then the best one, he fights himself. Those are the rules. The Star Trek rules apply for Final Fantasy. We have to fight ourselves at some point, and it needs to be like the evil version of ourselves that is equally as powerful and can kick our ass. Like that's the only thing left as a big bad, because we are too powerful.
I am thou, thou art I. Yeah. Yeah, it's sounding a lot like Persona. Oh my god.
But like, go for it.
I was gonna say, I guess the only question is, if it's one of the other Sundered, which I think that's the running theory, a Pasturat or whatever, the character that we saw, if obviously they're seeing that returning things to the old way doesn't work, and the current course of humanity doesn't work, so they're trying to find eternal solutions to that. Reminder that Alexander is meant to be a paradise that everyone inside can essentially live forever, perpetually, control over time, absorb, just completely infinite resources absorbed from the land, of course, but that's what Alexandria did as well. Alexandria is trying to absorb all the ether from the land to create a utopia. So this idea, it's a question of, do we think an evil version of us would have lost so much faith in humanity afterwards that their entire goal would be to create a utopia that everyone can live in eternally, and that's all?
I think they should, the way to do it is the Darth Vader it, where his whole thing was, if I control the universe, I will establish order where there is none. And I'll kill whoever I have to kill to do that. Like that was his like Anakin thing. And so I think here the idea of you going and finding people, or it could be whatever, but like you finding other shards, reflections, and being like, hey, you're a hero, and you like help train them and they're your buddy. And then eventually they kind of like, over time, they go back to their world and corrupt and slowly are like, I had to take control of my world because every damn day I was out there solving problems. Like, you know this. You never have a rest. You're constantly moving from one problem to the next. If you just did the right thing and took control of the world and ran this shit, there would be no problem. Like, that's what I did. And look at me. I'm the king of the world. Like, that is a good arc for your, like, it's one of those, you can like understand. Yeah. You can understand why someone would do that if they were driven to it and they like had a little screws loose. And that's, every day you're just like, no, all right, off to another adventure. You never really have a rest.
Yeah, and Injustice art sounds good, honestly. On paper, it sounds good. Like bad versions of the Scions. Like what would be the alternate of the Scions? Like,
I mean, we saw them in this expansion. That group that shows up to talk to Sphene was literally the like Bizarro Scions. Go back and look at them. It's crazy. They all are like, wait a minute, who are these people? These random NPCs are just pure Bizarro Scion.
The Justice Gang. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of Infinite Earths too. Yeah.
I also like
either. Yeah, go ahead.
I definitely think that if they want to stick with the whole idea of conquering death thing that Calyx was obsessed with, a really messed up fun twist would be, instead of rejoining, doing all the stuff, it would be breaking the I guess like I would about to call it the life stream, but like the ethereal sea, like shattering it so there's no difference between that and the physical world, so that there is no death because like the sea just exists. And so all like that would be crazy. That would be like a weird, we will destroy everything by making everything exist within this ethereal sea where there is no time or space. You're just here. Like that's a pretty like dark twist on it. That would be kind of 13th-ish.
The chat said what I was thinking. I was like, you're hurting me only because it's making me think of Shadowlands, and I don't want to do that.
Agreed. Well, here's the thing. I don't think that they would spend the time creating factions and an overlord structure for the Ethereal Sea. I don't think in my mind, you're not spending expansions within it. The plan is to make it explode into the real world, and you're dealing with real, like, we could talk about how I was like, who cares about who runs what faction of what part of the Shadowlands? Not a fan of that. Yeah. But conceptually, the idea of like a villain focused on ending death would be like, well, if I can't end it by doing this, I'll end it by doing this, which is a fun way to do it. I don't know.
Then you can get your Moonbreed to come back because she's there in the Ethereal Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The question is, do we see Calyx come back kind of in some form or fashion? Kind of like what Asahi was to Xenos? Do we see Calyx come back for the
I mean, you've seen his locker, Sly. That's inevitable.
I don't know. This could be like he is gone by the end of 7.5 and he ushers in a new thing, or he could be a through line through all of this moving forward. But the question I have is, the man shows up in a like black empty space and then like just a dude walks up to him. Where is that? How does that work? What does that mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions there.
We don't know.
A villain walks up to him.
I'm sticking with
You're
this
right.
for my Moonbreed. I'm sticking with this.
Yeah. Also, I'm totally down for like a several expansions of a really great like lady villain. I would love that. I'm here for it.
A Dommy mommy villain who has like not the personality of Emmett, but like she's she brings the sexiness and everything, but she's got the
give
wit.
us a Devil's Wears Prada villain. I'll take that.
Yeah,
he's just mean.
Yeah, that's what I want.
True story. When I was young, the adult channels, one day one of them was just working, and the Devil Wears Nada was on instead of the Devil Wears Prada. Just wanted to
a
throw
classic
that story in there. The classic, of course.
Why?
But so it's so funny because chat's like, Sly, this is your moon moment. Remember for literally 4 expansions, I went, we're going to the moon, man. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And then
the trailer for first shot, the trailer.
Yeah.
I am curious if
it's going to be that. Go ahead.
I wonder if the whole space exploration thing will lead somewhere. Like, we're doing it. We have bunnies in space. So if we're going to other planets, does that equal anything long-term for us? I have there's, like they always do, there's a lot of loose threads they can pull on, and there's a lot of things that still exist that we can grab on, even though chat really wants Genova for some reason. I don't think we'll ever get that, because they love keeping Final Fantasy VII its own thing. But with that said, maybe...
Barry had Meteor.
Yeah, Nail is meant to be Sephiroth. He even has, in 1.0, Nail has a moment where he walks through flames, for example.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be literally exactly that.
Yeah, we've already had Meteor, so I mean, they've kind of played that card. They couldn't play it anymore.
They can play it as many times as they want, Sly. We just probably shouldn't expect it.
Yeah. The biggest one we haven't had yet is fucking Sin, which I've been kind of predicting. No.
He's a whale.
Sin and Bismarck are two different things.
On.
No. Sin will be I feel like Sin will be kind of like not universe ending, but kind of world ending entity for
bless you.
A shard, bless you. Maybe a shard, maybe not this shard, maybe not a Theris, but Sin is eventually going to come up. Eventually.
I would actually genuinely love if they did we meet a character, they're a main character for like 2 expansions, and then that character was dead the entire time. I would genuinely love that.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah. Like they were there, everyone saw, but like, it was one of those
we were talking to ourselves the entire time.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, like, then they're like, I'm free now to go not be alive anymore, because they were brought back for whatever reason. I think that'd be a lot of fun. More than just Ardbert, which was only we can see him. I mean, like a character who is important, who is part of I think that'd be a lot of fun.
But no. They could play, like, I feel like the writers could do it. They could like string us along the entire time. And then, they do the animations where all of the people in a certain cutscene are looking at the person, but you're right there next to them, so they're looking at you, and like they could play that along the entire time and say, "Hey, this person was dead the entire time. Who were you talking to?" Wait, what? What do you mean? Who was I talking to?
Honestly, never mind. If we're gonna do that, I want it to be Xenos. Xenos returns. Xenos returns, and we're like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "I'm here to help you," or whatever. And then at the end, they're like, "He was never there, dude. It was just Xenos was with us the entire time." That would be incredibly insane, and I'd love every minute of that. That'd make me so happy. No, I was thinking more like Auron or like Tidus, or like thinking that line of it's a character, it's a real person, but like for story purposes, this is a person that when the story ends,
Auron would be that. Auron would definitely be that. Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, it's not like a Frey, it's not like an Ardbert situation where only we can see them. It's a character that exists, but is brought back for a reason, and then when the story arc ends, they're like, bye, and they fade away.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that.
So you want him to be like
not getting zombie
Patrick Swayze?
Yes, I want a pot making mini game where he puts his arms around you and you're like, just, Yep.
My darling.
If we're gonna steal from the movie Ghost, we need those creepy shadow guys who pull people into the void. Yeah. That shit was awesome. That needs to be in the game if we're gonna do anything.
Okay.
Hey, Auron, why aren't you getting zombied in this mechanic? What's going on?
Don't ask
that
questions.
Has to be a thing. That has to be a thing in
a fight. let me tell you, he gets zombied against Unalesca. I can promise you that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
More than familiar enough with that.
Which was stupid. I'm like, wait, was that an oversight? I was like, even when I was playing, was that an oversight?
No, they just didn't want you to be able to skip an entire mechanic, Sly, or auto die to it. That's gameplay over sense, Sly.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I mean, it was bullshit. I was like, even after I finished 10, I'm like, why was Auron still getting zombied? The fuck? Man's a ghost.
Sly, at that point, you might as well ask why curing him works. Or anything. If I give him a Phoenix down, why doesn't he just disappear?
Yeah.
All in all.
Man.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, there's, also, there's still a whole, like, we haven't touched on the job that is just missing yet. Like, that's a thing that hasn't happened. That's a whole storyline that could go somewhere. Maybe there's
which one?
Beastmaster.
Yeah, our Beastmaster.
Technically, we already got the start of its story. We already know a decent bit about Beastmaster.
Technically,
yeah.
Yeah, like, you're right. Yeah, technically, yeah, you're right.
We have met a bunch of them, and we know that the Chief Beastmaster is alive out there somewhere.
Yeah, like and that's a whole storyline that they had to end early. And so if like I'm down for just more of all of that would be fun. There's a lot of Final Fantasy 12 stuff we haven't even tackled yet that could be included. There's a lot of different things that they could add. Plus, like you were saying, that map has so much cloud cover. There's so many other stories to tell and so many other things like I'm not even concerned about the future.
Dude in the northeast. Who was that fucking
walking
big
through
dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, like who the fuck is that? And I've been wanting to ask Koji that for the longest time. Like,
Atlas.
yo, Koji, what's the?
Is that who that's supposed to be?
No.
What do you mean
No.
Why would it be Atlas? In case you're wondering, I'm only saying Atlas and not Titan because in fight he reminds me of Final Fantasy 13's Titan, but Atlas is the swap of Titan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No.
just saying,
I mean,
could be Atlas. This reminds me of when we were going to Stormblood and I saw the 4 lords there and I'm like, see them?
yeah.
On the map? You're fucking right. I'm the Final Fantasy 11 fan and we locked that shit in immediately.
Yeah, there's. I'm just looking at them right now. Every other map location has something that features stuff from that part of the expansion or part of the story.
Yep.
And then just outside of Garlemald is this dude who's bigger than the cloud cover chilling. Yeah, I have no idea what that's about.
I've been wondering that since like God knows how long since I've seen that map. I have my cloth map still. I'm like, yo, who the fuck is that dude?
Like, he's on summer vacation.
Every time I look at it.
The actual summer vacation. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on that map that's not fully known or explored yet as far as I know. But yeah, it's leaves a lot to listen, it just means there's a lot of places they can go. But I think at the very least, from my assessment of our discussion here, that while Dawntrail fumbled to get the ball rolling initially, the ball's rolling now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that. Yeah, we're in a place where the ball is rolling and we can kind of do things now. The question is, one, where are we going? And two, how are we going to get there? Not in terms of the literal how, but more so, what are the breadcrumbs that are going to get left for us to get there? Like, it's the RPG thing. We need breadcrumbs to kind of get there. We need something to kind of lead us in a path. And right now, it's not going to be Emmett. I really don't think it's going to be Emmett. Like, Emmett was usually hey, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? What are you going to do next? We can't have 2 summer vacations. We need to get back to fucking work. We need to actually do shit. So what do?
I think the Emmett stuff is, and the way they'll kind of, not necessarily retcon, but like fill out this information, is him saying, check these things out.
Yeah.
Are the breadcrumbs we need to move to the next thing. And so I think Mrhappy, Blind Frost, all that stuff isn't necessarily the goal. It is things along the line of little breadcrumbs leading to what is actually happening in the background. There's something else going on that story, whatever the Mrhappy story is, right? For example, that is just one tiny portion of the next big thing that there is a plan. So like, yeah, you'll go there and you'll hang out with the dragons again or whatever, or you'll meet centaurs or tree people or whatever the hell's going on there. But like, for the most part, you will, that's like a thing that will lead us to something bigger. And just like how Heaven's Ward and Stormblood were stepping stones to get to the penultimate story of like, this is actually what's going on. And everything you just did was a fraction of the grand scheme of things. And now you know what it is. And then we went into, Endwalker. This is like, okay, we are on a path to where? Who knows? But the adventure right now is going to be the journey getting there. And so don't expect any answers or major revelations yet.
For every one answer, expect 2 questions was how it was for quite some years.
Yeah.
So we now have somewhat tangible questions. We just didn't have that for a few patches. Actually, no, that's not true. We just, why? Overall, I think we touched on our feelings about Dawntrail fairly thoroughly without having to dive into every single event that defined it. And I think if we did that, we would go crazy.
It would be a longer show, of course. Yeah.
It'd be a longer show, and I don't know if we would survive it.
No.
It's a big question mark on that front. So, with that, just right about our usual end time, I think we can start wrapping things up. Before we do that, are there any final thoughts? Anything you feel like you didn't get to convey before we wrap up?
Jesse?
Not me. I'm all talked out. My throat is dead. In case you can't tell, I am out of water. I'm out of tea. I got nothing left to fall apart over here.
Do the Sid thing and drink some goddamn tea, man.
He did. He's out. It's gone.
Nothing, man.
There's no electrolytes anywhere.
No. Wait.
One last thing to say. As a Final Fantasy XI fan, I love the raids, even though they have nothing really to do with Final Fantasy XI. And I love Jar Jar Jafar. He's my favorite villain. He's the best. That weird lizard grin he gives is my favorite thing on planet Earth. Thank you very much.
It's a real Jar? Yeah, it's a real
Jafar.
Jar Jar Jafar. I love him. Yeah.
Jar Jar Jafar.
Do you think that sports drinks in Alexandria are full of electroplates? All right, now that I've done with that joke. That's great.
That was actually a good, you know what? That was a good one. I don't care what that was a good joke. That was a good joke.
No co-sign on that, Jesse. No.
That was a good joke. Solid dad joke. Love it.
The damn energy drinks from the maps. Yeah. The ones that turn you into to Rainbow Super Saiyan. Yeah. High in electroplates. Electrope does have many uses after all.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
It's what Alexandrians crave.
Exactly.
I hate both of you now. Why, Jesse? Why? I believed in you, man.
I believed in you.
There's your first mistake.
God.
There are no limits to Electrope's potential. Thank goodness. All right, with that, let's wrap things up. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us, Jesse. I know you're traveling. You're sick. Jesse. You had a podcast this morning. You had to rush the MSQ. You had to do a lot just to be here for a couple hours. So
I loved it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Why don't you give your outro spiel, however you would normally do that?
Sure. So if I'm playing the Final Fantasy or whatever, I'm over on twitch.tv/Jesse Cox. If you want to see less Final Fantasy things or watch the videos of me reacting to stuff, that's on youtube.com/Jesse Cox. The podcast I was on this morning is over there. I also do a show called Tell Me About, where I have cool people on to tell me about things that I thought I knew and I know nothing about. So the next episode, for example, is about factory games like Factorio and things like that. And the next episode after that is speedrunners. I have 3 of the biggest speedrunners in the world coming on, so it's going to be a ton of fun. And then I made a new channel literally just to test the algorithm, because my original YouTube channel is so old, the algorithm does not work with it. And it gives me no accurate information. So I made a new one called Too Old for This, where I literally it's bottom of the barrel content. All I do is react to things that people send me that are like, Gen Alpha and Gen Z kids love this. What do you think? And so I'm learning about Labubu's. I learned about what Skibbity Toilet was. I learned about the Rizzler. The most recent one, I learned about a guy who makes secret rooms in his home. And I thought, oh, cool, secret rooms. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. So, I'm doing one about Dubai chocolate in a little bit. I'm just, all the things people are like, this is awesome. My old ass is going to go learn about it. So come join me for bottom of the barrel content. It's great.
Jesse, in my head, so just the other day I started watching Xiaoma again.
Mm-hmm.
And a few months ago he did a video where he read to a language course. But he was like, well, these are younger people, so I'm going to write the speech entirely in Gen Z slang.
It's an amazing video. Yes, I've seen this.
And
it is.
You said Skibbity Toilet, and it all came back.
I will say, the things I learn are fascinating. Like Skibbity Toilet, for example, the first couple, I'm like, I get it. It is just like the trash that we used to do when I was a kid. But eventually becomes something insane that I'm like, what? Same thing with the Rizzler. I was like, oh, this is very sweet, but like, is this getting weird? The internet. What I'm saying is it corrupts everyone and is so bizarre. And the rabbit holes I go down, tune in. It's good stuff.
When are you going to watch 90 Day Fiancé and watch the insanity that is that?
Please
Adding it to the list. Adding it to the list.
No, Jesse, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm trying to save you, man. I'm trying to save you.
90 Day Fiancé is more like a modern of a marvel of modern technology and it being too powerful at bringing people together when it really shouldn't.
Probably.
She's been making me watch it. She makes me watch Love Island, and I say make. I enjoy watching it with her because it makes me feel better as a person. But you know,
if you want to watch the greatest reality show in the history of reality shows, look up Are You the One season 6. The premise of the show, it's an MTV show that used to be on before COVID. I don't think it is anymore. But the idea is 20 people are brought into a house, and the season I'm thinking of, it's New Orleans, but 20 people are brought into a house, and the premise is they all win $1 million if they match up into 10 couples. But as people fall in love, they refuse to play the game. So it's very like crazy, sociological experiment, because some people are like, you are my one. And when they're told they're not, they're like, well, I refuse to get with someone else because I love you so much. And you're like, ooh. It's great. It's like watching a science experiment go wrong. It's so good. And the one that's in New Orleans is hilarious because they're all a mess. Except for one guy who's like, I'm here to win the prize. It's lovely. Cannot stress it enough. One of the best reality shows ever made because it is designed to hurt those people in the craziest way possible. Mwah. Good stuff.
I'll keep that one in mind. I still gotta watch Dexter. The new season of Dexter's almost done. I haven't even gotten that, and I want to see that. I've heard nothing but fantastic things, and I have not gotten around to it yet. But I will tell her, and she might even know what you're talking about. She watches Big Brother.
Probably because it was amazing. I've made every single person in my life watch it, and I will continue to do so. It is like watching a train wreck happen in just slow motion. Oh, it's beautiful. Great TV.
I look forward to it. I think. I don't know if I should. Okay. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. Sly, do you have the mental capacity with which to exit stage left?
Bourbon.
That'll do.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter, Sly, aka Gray Fox, Blue Sky, Sly, aka Gray Fox, everywhere. Except for YouTube, youtube.com/The Velvet Room. What am I doing? Today is Friday in California. So, started Spider-Man 2, finally.
Yo.
Yeah, I know. That shit was hot. That shit was fucking fire. After this, I will be doing, my bourbon stuffs, obviously, where we have bourbon, watch bourbon tube, whiskey tube, react to bourbon tube, react to hunts and everything. I got a little bit of Final Fantasy stuff to do tonight before we get to Velvet Room Bar Trivia 90s edition. Last week we did 2000s. This week we're doing the 90s. So again, TV, cartoons, video games, and anime. Name that theme. So, like your local bar trivia.
Darkwing Duck.
The problem is, no, we can't use those because you got to realize for every Disney theme and most 90s cartoon themes, they say the name in the theme.
Ooh, ooh, Killer Tofu.
Solid Doug reference.
Yeah. I mean, I already used Doug for one of them, so yeah, I can't use Doug again.
Okay.
But yeah. This week is 90s. I kind of picked some good ones for the 90s tonight. And the person who's going to be grading y'all said, like, yeah, Sly, you got to pick some good ones. Yeah, I know. Like, so yeah, good luck to all of you who are taking part in bar trivia tonight. Tomorrow, again, is Shinobi. I will be finishing Revenge of Shinobi God, that game, like, I didn't remember that game being hard. Maybe I was just fucking goated.
A Shinobi game being hard, crazy.
No. I mean, like, to be fair, I mean, I understand Ninja Gaiden was hard. I didn't remember fucking Revenge of Shinobi being hard. Shinobi 3 was a fucking cakewalk. Once I get to Shinobi 3, I'm done. Yeah, like, and then I can get the PS2 of Shinobi, which is, I mean, I liked it. I bought the game. I bought both Shinobi and Nightshade, but still, like, yeah, I didn't remember Revenge being that hard. I remember Arcade being that hard, and I experienced that last week. I was like, okay, I'll move on to Revenge. Get to Revenge. Revenge is fucking unfair. Oh my God. Revenge is fucking unfair. But yeah, that I will be returning to Final Fantasy 11 next week. And then, of course, the following week, next week the 26th, or no? The following week, I'll be doing Fru. Oh, I was even bribed. Imagine that. Well, no, I got bribed by Bourbon. I was bribed to do Fru by Bourbon. Yeah. So I'll be doing Fru. Imagine that. So yeah. And then, of course, at the end of the month, I got to take a break from 11 and go back to Shinobi Art of Vengeance, the new one coming out, which, if you haven't played the demo, fucking amazing.
It's good.
Bro, it's good. It is fucking good. And then, of course, Super Robot Wars, which you know me. He
loves
I love my
busting.
robots. Bustin' makes me feel good, and Gunbuster is not NY, unfortunately, until maybe DLC, but yeah. Played a demo for SRWY, which is on consoles but not on Steam. So if you have PS5, 4, or Switch, you can play the demo for Super Robot Wars Y, and it converts to your full game. And it is a meaty demo. It is a 4-hour demo, so have fun. It is good. The story is actually really fucking good. And like, in comparison to VX and T and 30, it is really good. Like, Lelouch is a central part of the fucking story. Boy. But yeah, that's all I have going on.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Happy,
So
what
not
about you?
much.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Mr. Happy 1227. I love the numbers. Right now I'm hopping between a handful of things. I was doing a bit of OSRS on stream, but that's largely moved to the background. I'll be getting ready for Guild Wars 2 Visions expansion, which will be in October. We have Final Fantasy Tactics next month. We have Trails on the Sky first chapter next month. We have a few 14 updates. I have a group for Quantum World Prog. We have the relics, and we have cosmic exploration stuff in just about like a week and a half or something like that. So there's a lot happening, and that's not even the half of it. I mean, I still have to decide Borderlands 4. I still have to decide if I'm gonna pop up. And I'd need to pull up a list because there's too many fucking things. What?
Play Super Robots.
That's not happening. Let me tell you, of all the things that I'm not making time for, there's Pokemon Legends ZA, or as I like to call it, Pizza.
To be fair, you don't make time for Fire Emblem, so you will not make time for Super Robots. So yeah, I can see that.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I got to get prepared for over the next several months. So I expect it to be a very busy time, both on and off of Final Fantasy 14. So pray for me, and be sure to tune in, because we got some cool stuff coming up. But anyway, thanks again, gentlemen, for your time. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks to Magic Spoon for sponsoring the video. That'll be on the YouTube video, not here on the live stream. And with that, we will be just doing a quick post show, just winding down for a minute or two, and then Jesse can go rest his voice, and I can go get my food, and Sly can go get his night started. So yeah, see, we could hang out for another 20 minutes or so if you wanted, Jesse. You just keep your voice.
No, he needs his voice. No, he needs his voice.
No, guys, it's okay. I can keep going. It's fine.
That's literally me, like, playing Final Fantasy 11 at 3 in the morning when I was in high school. Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Till then. Bye-bye.
See you soon.